Welcome back to The Explainer. All right, today we're diving deep into something really fascinating, the scientific framework behind a therapeutic system called holistic radical therapy, or HRT Hijama. We're going to unpack the principles laid out in the source material by Dr. Ali Al-Jamal. So what are we really talking about here? Well, first off, this isn't just a one-off treatment. It's presented as a whole system. And the core idea, the big aha moment, is that it's designed to tap into something our bodies already have, this amazing built-in capacity to regulate and heal themselves. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the foundational framework, then look at the body's natural quest for balance. After that, we'll trace a signal's journey through the nervous system, see how that leads to a specific strategy, and finally, talk about restoring the body's own intelligence. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, the body's blueprint. The whole approach we're looking at is built on two, absolute cornerstones of biology, anatomy and physiology. Think of them as the what and the how of the human body. So let's start with anatomy. You can literally think of it as the body's blueprint or its physical map. It tells us what all the parts are and exactly where they're located, from big things like your organs and bones all the way down to the tiniest cells. It's the what and the where. Okay, so if anatomy is the map, then physiology, well, that's the instruction manual. It explains how all those parts we just mapped out actually work together to keep you alive. It's the how and the why. And this relationship is crucial, right? The structure of a thing determines its function. You really can't separate them. And the source material gives us a really great way to think about this. Picture a truck. The anatomist is the person who'd be looking at it and saying, okay, the steering wheel is this big, and it's connected to the axle via these rods. They're mapping the parts. But the physiologist? They jump in the driver's seat and ask, what happens when I turn this wheel? How much power does the engine generate? See the difference? One's the parts list, the other is the performance test. Okay, so knowing the parts and how they work leads us to a really big concept, the body's ultimate goal. And that goal is all about balance. The scientific term for it is homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? It's really important to get this. It's not a fixed state, like a thermostat set to one temperature. Nope, it's more like a constant dynamic dance. Your body is always making tiny adjustments to keep everything, your temperature, your pH, your blood sugar, in this perfect, narrow little sweet spot. Here's a perfect everyday example. You go for a run, right? Your muscles start working, they generate heat, and your body says, whoa, too hot. So you start to sweat to cool down. But now you're losing water and essential salts, so what happens? Other systems kick in to tell you you're thirsty and to conserve water. That whole beautiful automatic sequence, that is homeostasis, right there in action. So who's running this whole show? The conductor of this incredible orchestra is the autonomic nervous system, the ANS for short. Just think of it as your body's automatic pilot. You don't have to think about digesting your food or making your heart beat, right? The ANS handles it. And its mission control center is tucked away deep inside the brainstem. All right, so if the brainstem is mission control, how does it know what's going on in the rest of the body? Well, it needs information, right? It needs data. And it gets that data from a huge, complex network of signals. This network starts with millions of tiny sensors called receptors. You've got tactile ones in your skin for touch and pressure. Then there are proprioceptors in your muscles and joints that are constantly telling your brain where your limbs are. That's how you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. And you even have internal ones, like baroreceptors, that act like little pressure gauges in your blood vessels. So when one of these sensors picks something up, it doesn't just send a random shout into the void. No, it sends a highly organized message. The signal zips to the spinal cord, travels up to the brainstem, mission control, and then gets sorted and relayed by a part of the brain called the thalamus. It's a very clear, very specific route. And what's really cool is that these signals don't all get stuck in traffic on the same road. The body has different information highways for different types of data. So fine touch and pressure, that gets its own express lane. Pain and temperature signals, they take a different route. This specialization is just incredible. It makes sure every message gets delivered quickly and to the right destination. Okay, so now that we have this amazing blueprint of the body's wiring, we can start to see how this all connects to a therapeutic strategy. We're moving from the how it works to the what you do. Which brings us to the million-dollar question, right? If the body is this smart, this brilliant at self-regulating, what goes wrong? Why doesn't it just fix itself all the time? What's the roadblock? And according to this framework, a primary culprit, a major obstacle that gums up the works, is chronic inflammation. Now, a little inflammation is good, it's part of healing, but when it becomes chronic, when it just won't shut off, that's a problem. It's like having constant road construction on those information highways. It can disrupt nerve signals, reduce blood flow, starve cells of nutrition, and just generally stop tissues from functioning the way they're supposed to. So, given that problem, the proposed strategy is all about location, location, location. The primary target is a very specific spot, the craniocervical junction. That's just a fancy term for the area where your skull meets your neck. So why there of all places? Because if you look at the anatomy, the map, it's the closest, most direct external access point to the brainstem. Mission control. And that leads us to the final piece of this puzzle, the so what. How does stimulating this one area help restore the body's own incredible intelligence? The goal here isn't just to be an on-off switch. It's more sophisticated than that. It's about adjusting what's called autonomic tone. Think of it like the idle on a car engine. There's always a low-level hum of activity in your nervous system. This is fantastic because it means the body doesn't have to start from zero every time. It can just turn the dial up or down, allowing for much more subtle and precise control. And this quote really sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. It's all about activating the body's own reflexes. We're talking about tapping into these pre-programmed, super fast systems that are already there to help ride everything back to a state of balance. It's not about forcing anything, it's about working with the body's own intelligence. So when you put it all together, this framework proposes something pretty profound. It suggests that by clearing the roadblocks, like that chronic inflammation, and by sending the right signals to mission control, you can essentially reawaken the body's own powerful ability to heal itself. And that leaves us with one last big question to ponder. If our bodies really do have this incredible built-in system for self-regulation, what is the key to unlocking its full potential?